Hello, good afternoon, and a very warm welcome to Africa Rise with Susan West. Um, it's a beautiful Sunday. We're just going to have a good time. And of course, we've been waiting, we've been eager to hear from Femi Kuti, who is our guest today on Africa Rise. But just as you join, as in our usual tradition, remember to create watch parties. Remember to share this broadcast with your friends. Of course, you know that we're broadcasting to Facebook, YouTube, and today we're not doing Instagram. And at the end of this broadcast, you know how we gather the thousands of views because we're depending on you to share this broadcast and create watch parties. So, without taking much of your time, I'm going to be bringing a bon Femi Kuti. All right? Yes. Good afternoon once again, Egbon Femi.
Good
Welcome to
afternoon.
Africa Rise.
Thank you.
Right. So I'm just gonna go into our chat straight up. I'm gonna start by saying some of your songs you've done lately. It's "Evil People," "Africa Will Be Great Again," "Best to Live on the Good Side," "Corruption," "Naskini," then "Militarized Democracy," "The Way Our Lives Go." They don't come again. He gets as he be equal opportunity. Too much on my mind. How many he did their body? Now their way be that. One people, one world. All these are ways, of course, you've been able to capture our stories and struggles as Africans, especially as Nigerians. Do you think that we've been able to truly harness entertainment in telling our stories as Africans?
Do I think we've been able to tell our story? Yes,
Yeah.
of course. Um, the best example is my father. It's because of his story, many young people today can understand what was going on in the 70s and think as far back as independence that if this happened in independence, Fela was talking about these things in early 70s till he died in the 90s, and we are in 2020 and these things are still relevant. Yes, it is. It's the best example for this.
Well, we know that, and of course, we know that you're also following in your father's footstep in the way that you capture Africa's stories. All the other um, one of the things that have come to mind most of the time when you go, especially around the world, you find out that they appreciating more of African music, Nigerian music especially. But I'm not seeing a lot of young people able to capture the realities of our societies in Africa to, bring, promote African values or African stories. How would you think that we're doing so far with this generation of artists in telling our stories, our real stories through entertainment?
Uh, I would look at it from this perspective. If all these young boys and girls became terrorists or they became bandits, what would we do? They're doing something very constructive with their life. They're trying to make a decent living. Um, so I think for this, it shows that um, young people be want to do positive things with their lives, and we should appreciate this. Again, I think it's very important um, never to bring the work of art down. It's their way of telling their story. I mean, they still make Africa relevant in their own way. I mean, people dance to their music, people love their music. They have a lot of hits. They have big streaming content. So we should encourage them, not always criticize people when people are trying to excel in their lives. It's this is Fela's way was his way. This is my way. I choose this path I am on. Um, Probably, if Fela wasn't my father, I would not. I would be singing some love story or something very stupid, or who knows. But this is the path I chose because of my upbringing. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to know people like Patrice Lumumba, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. I'm I'm grateful to know this huge African heritage that I adore, respect, and um, it's important for me to always tell the story with my life. But even if one is not saying it the way we say it, doesn't mean they're not telling the African story.
Right.
It's still part of the African story.
I agree. So one of the things I watch your performances when you go abroad, when you're doing tours, I watch the videos. And one of the things that come to mind is when you talk when you sing in pidgin English, are you able to really communicate your message to your audience?
Yes, don't forget most of the people that come to my performance already read a lot of my interviews. They know what I'm singing. So if I'm saying corruption, they know I'm talking about corruption. And sometimes I try to break it down into more, I try to break it down into pure English for them. But they do understand what I'm saying. I
In-
see the network is very bad.
It's
Is
not.
this network coming? Is it from
No,
you?
no. It's perfect. Everything is fine. Sound
Okay,
is good.
okay. Because you keep going off screen.
I take myself off screen sometimes when you're talking.
Please don't, so I can see you. So it doesn't
Okay,
seem as if I'm talking to myself.
yourself
Okay.
right. Okay, so in one of your songs, you said Africa will be great again. You
Yes.
cited when 1 naira was equal to £2, and the coming, of course, is that something when you say Africa will be great again? Is that something you're saying from an angle of a prophet, or is this something you're saying? Is it a statement of fact?
I'm not a prophet. It's a statement. It's a fact. It will happen one day. As you see, the world is changing already very fast. When you see what is going on in America or Europe these days, people are beginning to stand up against racism. People are beginning to take the African story very seriously. So it will happen. I don't believe it will happen in my lifetime, if I'm frank and honest with myself, but I'm very optimistic that it will happen. And the way I see it is, like I said, um, I've learned a lot about great African men and women. And if it wasn't for people like that,
Mm,
my grandmother, my father, people like me will not care.
mm,
And so I think every individual has to play this positive part into in telling the story. So the
mm,
next generation will know and they know how to proceed with their lives. And so it's because of I have a huge fan base here because of what I sing. People want to hear this positive message about Africa, and it gives. Okay, again, history hasn't been taught in schools in Nigeria for quite a while. I don't know if they have started that now, but I
mm,
know in '95 or so they banned history. So a lot of people don't have this knowledge of this great African heritage. A
mm,
lot of people don't know about the great pyramids in Egypt. A lot of people don't know that Africa was the envy of the world at one time. And a lot of people don't even know the true story about the trans-Sahara slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade, except this distorted history we were taught in school that we sold ourselves, which is far from the fact.
mm.
And so it's very important for people like me to keep on telling this story. And one day, a very enthusiastic, inquisitive young generation will come and put their foot down and say, look, we have had enough. We want Africa to we want Africa to prosper. We want Africa, we're going to build Africa. We're
Mm.
going to believe in Africa. And already it's happening slowly, as you can see. And I believe that time will come. It probably will take 20 years, 30 years, probably 100 years, but it will come.
Right, right. I'm super positive about the way I feel about Africa and the way I think of Africa too. But sometimes we have to pinch ourselves and ask certain relevant questions if we're being
Of
too
course.
optimistic or not. Now, coming from a long line, your heritage of having a grandmother who was an activist. She was, a campaigner for women's rights and so on and so forth. Then to your dad, I would say that you're quite subtle in the way that you interact with governments. I would want to find out why your approach, if your approach has to do with your personality, or you don't think that the approach your dad and your grandmother took probably um, he was effective enough to bring about change.
It's my personality more. But then you can't compare my time with my father's time. You can't compare what I've been through with what my father's been through. You can't compare the 40s or 30s with my grandmother's time with my father's time. Now,
Mm,
when my father started singing, he didn't expect the soldiers to descend and burn his house or kill his mother or the police raids. He wasn't expecting that. He was singing and he was singing. He wasn't that direct at that beginning, but he started to be attacked, he started to make it very personal against whoever was head of state or the
mm,
president of Nigeria at that time. Now, if you say I haven't been direct, then you don't know my music well enough. I can give you one track easily, Traitors of Africa. That's very direct.
mm,
I give you another track, Stubborn Problem. I'm calling people who are in power. General Abacha was in power during Stubborn Problem. That's direct. Babangida was in power when I wrote and sang and recorded Traitors of Africa. So
mm,
people that criticize me in this respect are just looking for, they're trying to stir up negativity about my personality.
right.
Building the shrine. See what I've done with my career. Building the shrine with my sister. Everybody thought it was not possible. They don't know what we went through to build the shrine. They don't know
Mm,
what it means to keep this legacy alive. At um, my father lost everything, and we have managed to bring it all up again. This takes this takes this takes a lot of calculation, brain,
mm,
and being very how will I say it? Be uh, very honest in your approach. How, what have I not done? What they want me to pick up a gun? They want me to what? Walk to Dodam barracks? What do they want me to do? And then I was there for a lot of police raids during my father's time. For example, I was there when my father took his mother's coffin to Dodam barracks. I was there. I was there in 1982 when my father was charged for armed robbery. I was there. I was beaten. I was arrested. I was arrested during when we went. I was beaten at Dodam barracks. So I've had my own little share. Of course, not as bad as my father, but then I was a little boy. So I have learned then I've learned a lot of people betrayed my father.
mm,
I witnessed this firsthand as his son. I
mm,
saw his very close friends turn their backs when he needed them most. So
mm,
now my father had kind of open house policy.
yeah,
Everybody could just walk into his house. I don't allow that because I know how dangerous I saw people betray him. So I am more of putting my family before anybody. And this I do because of my experience that as Fela's children, we could not go to anybody's house and we were taken as their own. We were always put in our place. And then when we come to Kalakuta again, people are people that we don't know become more important than us in our home,
wow.
or we are treated as equals, so to say. And
Mm,
then this made me think when I want my own home, I will never put anybody before my family. I will never
absolutely.
let any, because my family will go to other houses and they will say, Omo Fela, Omo Femi niye, you will never be Omo. They might love you, they might like you, but they will never put you before their own children. So the way I live my life is very different from my father, which is not to criticize him. We're just different. We have our similarities because it's my father, but we're different as well.
Absolutely. We all have our uniqueness and we bring it in the best ways that we can. And of course, we're seeing what you're doing. We love you. We're seeing what you're doing and how your performance is totally different from what your father does. You are, I watch your live performance and I'm thinking, how is he able to, your physical, the dance, the moves, the way you jump around is totally different, but you have your own um, agenda and how you want to bring it across. And we love you for that. No doubt about it. And I want to quickly talk about 2020, the year of COVID 19. I also know that you had a lot of tours that was planned for this year for Canada and for the United States. And of course, all these tours have been cancelled. I want to find out how the COVID 19, the year 2020, has affected you as an African.
And not just me, I think everybody. I don't think there is no part in society or in business, entertainment. It's affecting everybody. Probably the only business that is making money is um, the telecommunication, where you have to buy data and still make phone calls and still buy petrol for your car. You have to move around, but
Right.
everybody's suffering, not just me. And it's a very confusing, terrible times. A lot of people have lost loved ones, so it's not really about the material things I've lost. I am more concerned that a solution must be found quickly. And yes, I have lost a lot of money because of the promotion of the tour. We had to get our visas that are not refundable. Um, our tickets that we bought have been given to us for a year, but are we sure we can arrange a tour for that particular point in time? They give us our tickets. If we don't, are we going to get a refund? So a lot of things have gone that were in a very big dilemma right now. But a lot of money has been lost as well. But people have lost loved ones. People are very sad. So many people have died. So I think more in this respect than my personal problems. And again, I'm with my family. There are a lot of people I can't be with their families at this time anymore. I have my
Right.
children here. My partner is with me. Um, we're bonding very well. I would have probably been on tour. So I'm grateful for this as well. Because as a traveling artist, I hardly get to see them grow, or I'm never in town, I'm never around. So this is again, I've looked at the positive side. This is very, very precious time for me because I've never been at home for this amount of time. And so it's really touchy for me to be with my kids, my children.
Absolutely. We're all taking advantage of these times. We're staying at home to bond, and some of us are beginning to discover a lot more like new things about our family members and ourselves. So, yes. How would you say that governments in Africa have handled the COVID-19 pandemic in the sense that the way they've cared for the people, the way they have handled the protocols, to speak?
Government of Africa have always failed us. So they always fail us. And that's so sad. I mean, the easiest part is just look at our healthcare service. It is COVID-19 that makes all of them realize we don't have a healthcare. We
Hmm.
don't take care of our nurses, we don't take care of our doctors, we don't take care of anybody in the healthcare section. Because when they are all sick, they all leave to go to Europe or America for treatment. And how many of our people can afford private healthcare or good healthcare or be able to travel out of this country? So they have
Right.
failed. In that respect alone, they have failed. Let's take, for instance, Nigeria. We still don't have constant electricity. A lot of people don't still have water. Our roads are still not done. I mean, they have Ibadan Express Road. They have been doing that for, I think, 20 years now. They have been trying to fix the Ibadan Road, not to talk of the other parts of this country that they have failed us. I mean, okay, should we look at education? There was a time our universities were the best. That has fallen. All the standards have fallen, and we're just being given promises upon promises, promises, promises. Now, I made a statement because the vice president of Nigeria was saying something that they need to have a debate on the issues of the expenses of government is too much. Now, the way I see it is his party is in government. Did they have a debate before they won the election? No. So you mean they cannot call themselves and say, look, we are in control of this government.
Right.
Look, the government can't afford this exorbitant way we are living, all this extra cost. We better stop it or we're all going to be in trouble. And this nation has already fallen, but we are going to be in big trouble that there will probably be riots and a revolution very soon if we don't start to do things properly. What is the debate there? To call yourselves. And then when you call yourselves, you can debate it and quickly debate, and then you put it in law. What is the razzmatazz that you are coming to say before we should have a debate, and then they are going to think of the debate, and before you know how many years will pass, they will be out of government before that debate happens. You have been in government for how long? We have already been with PDP for how long? People are now talking about restructuring. People are talking about Biafra must go. I mean, they have failed. For people to have this conversation right now means government has failed. People are heartbroken. The suffering is bad. And when you have power and you can't call your political party to make these changes urgently, then as leaders, you have failed again. So people then start to say, look, you don't know politics. Go and smoke a bowl. Go and play your music. Leave politics for, senseless talking, which again brings me back to colonization. Because we speak English, everybody speaks English. When you have learned English to a certain point, you now become too smart for yourself. And you don't see things from the African perspective. Now because you speak English probably better than me, you now think you know about life better than me. Or, you are speaking so much grammar that you are forgetting to see the amount of poverty. I made another statement during COVID. I said, look, COVID has started. This is the time for government to employ young boys and young girls. Let me give, for instance, the drainage in Nigeria, in Lagos State, for example, is bad. The rains are going to come and we're all going to be in trouble. Employ, instead of these boys committing crimes and gang war and all this, quickly get them, pay them well so they are motivated. Let them be part of development. Clean the drainage system quickly. Just an example. Okay, they didn't listen to me. The rains have started. What do we have? Flood. All these bottles, everything. Look, of course they didn't listen. So the rains have started. They want to start doing it now. It's too late. But if they had listened and the government was, you see, COVID-19 it caught everybody unawares. But I thought that was a time for the government to now say, wow, let's get our healthcare back on track. Let's get this back on track. Not start saying, yes, we have 100 cases now, 2 dead. Oh, 300 cases, 5 dead. There. And we are going, then all the palliatives that were given, people don't believe the government got it. People didn't see it, or they were distributing poorly. I mean, government should be leading. People should be comfortable. People should be happy. People should want to participate. People should the streets should feel it. The streets are not feeling it. And then when people like me talk, they start to get their, what will I call them? Their tyrants to start to attack people like me. Hey, shut up. You don't know what you are saying. Go and just play music and shut up. I should just play music and shut up. Okay, I'll play my music and shut up. And I'll play great music. And I will still talk about your stupidity. If you like, listen. This country has not had light for how many. You know what? I was thinking the other day, I was telling my son, if a government gives us electricity today, some people will come and say, that's great. Oh, this is fantastic. What is fantastic about giving us electricity? You are doing your job. Do your job. And then somebody like me that my life has been wasted, that I am already traumatized, that I have not had electricity. Then I should come and tell you, thank you for giving me the electricity that I've spent all my income buying diesel to run my club and my house. that money that I could have gone for good education for my children, I should now come and tell you thank you. Just give me the electricity and shut up, for God's sake. And then you will say, I mean, you know, is it not your job to do that? My job is to play good music. And if I can't play good music, I better go and be a carpenter or go and clean the road or something, or go and find another profession. Go and do what I know I can do well. But if I say this is my job, so you see what I do is I play free because I love it. The happiest time, or should I say one of the happiest times these days, because I love being with my children. One of the happiest times is performing at the shrine for free, just seeing people happy. They come in free, and it's 500 naira, which is just about $1 or so, less than $1 or $1.50. And just to see that people are happy with my music, it brings so much comfort and joy to my soul that this is my work. And if I can make you happy, and we can all go home tonight and say, wow, what a great performance, and do it again. And if for God to give me a long life to keep on doing this till I cannot do it anymore, what more do I want? The joy I give people is money can't buy this joy. And that's what I see. Government must think and act in this respect. If you want to be a senator or the president or whatever you are, you must be happy to bring smiles on the faces of people. And if you can't do it, what is that? You are buying exorbitant cars and all this, or building houses, or embezzling money, or corruption here. And you see, I mean, we could just go on and on. So you ask me, has government failed? Of course, government has failed. We should not be talking. I shouldn't be talking to you like this. And then you see, they have their tyrants, like I call it. They're tyrants, because when you complain like this, then they start saying, it was the last government. Yes, the last government was bad. Why are you there? We know. Don't keep on nagging us about the past. Do the right thing now. Get the electricity working. You promised us electricity in 6 months. You haven't done it. You promised us this. You haven't done it. This is your second time in government. Before you know it, it will have gone. It will have, look, time goes so fast that it will have gone, and you will have nothing to show for it. You will have nothing to show for it except the people that are profited from the government, taking contracts that they never even do. Take contracts for road, they never finish the contracts. Then the next government will say, oh, they took that contract for the road. Look, I've been hearing this story all my life. At 58, I heard it during my father's time. You see, when my father was talking I was at, I think, 10, 11. I'm 58. And it's a shame that somebody like me still has to talk about it. Now my son is talking about it. Are we going to wait for his own children to talk about it before we become enlightened that this is a big problem? And then just because some people are stealing in government and they give you a bit of money to go on social media to talk rubbish, you don't even think about how bad this problem. Okay, let's forget everything. Our healthcare system doesn't work. What do you have to be stupid to understand the healthcare system is not working? That the president of this country has to leave this country, doesn't trust his life in the hands of the doctors of this country, he leaves to go out of this country. And you are telling me I'm talking rubbish. Okay, I ask you a question. Do you think the Queen of England, when she's sick, she will go to France, or she will call a French doctor to treat her? That will be the day she will leave her throne. Or the president of America will go to England for treatment, or France will go to Germany, or vice versa, anywhere. It is always Africa or the so-called third world countries. When their president is sick, they will leave their healthcare and run to the so-called first. But they will never repair their own healthcare. When I was growing up, General Hospital, Luth, Idi Araba. Wow. Do you know what? As a young boy, my mother was ill at one time. I think this was, wow, let me get my facts, 70, 71 or 72. I can't think right now for the date, but around this period. Luth, I used to pray to be sick. When you walk into Luth, wow, Luth was so clean. You could smell it was so refreshing. The food, you could smell them cooking food from the gate. When you go into the room of the wards, wow, Luth was like paradise. Go and see Luth now. Go to any general hospital now. It's nothing to write home about. So we saw it. So when I'm saying Africa will be great again, I saw when it was $2 to 1 naira. We saw it, and my father was singing. He got beaten, and they gave all the excuses. He likes to wear pants. He likes women. He's smoking a bowl. They didn't listen to what he was saying. They gave all the reasons not to listen to him. And the reasons that many of them were even doing in their respective homes. But now is a lot of people say he was a prophet, but he was telling us the roads were bad. We were going to school on bad roads. Before it was ECN, the electrical company was ECN. Many people don't even know that was the name, ECN. Then they changed the name quickly, so we will forget ECN and think that if they change the name, we will not know it was ECN that was taking light. But ECN will even tell you on the news, we are taking light. Oh, sorry for taking light. Then we use NEPA for decades. When NEPA now failed us, they have now turned it to Ikeja Electric or whatever their names are in their respective places. So, but we still call it NEPA. Many of us still call it NEPA because it's still NEPA. It's still like, no, we still have no light. What topic? What topic? Tell me the topic we should talk about that we can say, yes, we are satisfied. And then when they just give us 2%, they make so much noise. I don't care who it is. They just make so much noise that, see what we are doing. Or they build one little building that they will not send their own children to or their own family members to. Where you go, I was in Leeds the other day, about 2 years ago. We played, and they used the school compound for this festival. And every class had a computer. It was a government school, free education, every class, well arranged. And I told my boys, say, look, this is government. You see, you have to do things for your people. Your people must. How can you think of England before your people? How can you think of America before your? But you go to all these places. I mean, when you arrive, you travel to France, for instance, and you arrive, and you see Charles de Gaulle. When I was going to Charles de Gaulle for the first time, they had one terminal, A, B, C, D. Charles de Gaulle now has A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, I am all. There also be Z. The airport is the whole of Ikeja. You have to take a train from one terminal to the next terminal, and you'll be rushing not to miss your flight. When you see the airport, then you see Air France. We as Africans, we see all these countries. When you arrive, Muitala, you just see. You even see Nigeria Airways. You just you see. When I tell them that Muritala Airport is like a booker, then they will abuse me because somebody that says in Abeokuta, when it comes from Abeokuta that has been underdeveloped to Lagos, we say, Lagos is paradise. That's because you have not seen Los Angeles. You haven't seen other countries. And they deprive the people from seeing this place. So they give their children the best education. They give their children the best everything. Then the children come back and lord themselves on us. Speak the best English. All these tyrants and their friends, the tyrants, because now they are all speaking French, Portuguese, or Spanish better than the rest of us because they have got the best education. Then they come and lord their stupid best education on us. Which brings me to this topic. Is it because you speak Portuguese or French that you think you are more intelligent than the African man, or you have lost your senses? You can't even speak your language again. Before I even abuse you, let me abuse myself. I don't think in my language. I don't dream in my language. I feel so horrible. But the people that do, we should preserve these people. We need to preserve these people because our culture must not die. Our heritage must not die. Do you think the French people dream in French, in English? You think French people dream in English, or the Germans dream in French? Even with the Second World War, they preserved their language. The Japanese preserved their language. The Chinese preserved their language. We know it's how to speak. We studied the dictionary so I can speak. Oh, this is fabulous. This is obnoxiously good. And the bigger English, I say, he's speaking big English. And the bigger English you speak, the more corrupt you can be. Who cares about your stupid English that you are speaking to me? I don't want to even hear your English. So that's why Fela broke it down and said to speak pidgin English and made it. Fela was a very fluent, well-educated English speaker. But you will never know until you spoke to him one-on-one. Because he had no respect for, so what if he spoke good English? Or what benefit was that to him when his culture and tradition was suffering? When he was looked down, which takes us to Black Lives Matter, because who cares that you speak English? You will still be, in these countries, the racists will still attack you. Go back to your country. Get out of here. So It is more for us to study our culture, preserve our culture. Let's even go to medicine. We know Africa survived before Western medicine. Where's that medicine? We should be doing massive research centers all over Africa. What
Mhm.
works? What doesn't work? Research, encourage our youth to research our herbs because we know this medicine did exist. I'm
Mhm.
not saying condemn Western medicine, but research this medicine. And then stop those idiots selling fake medicine and whatever herbs that they are using to kill their own people. Government should attack this and look and let us know what is right and what is wrong. But you see, some people will be carrying ogogoro and mix it to say, for the medicine to straighten your back. But and obviously, mixing, God knows what they are mixing. I'm not saying it doesn't work because I don't know, but government should tell us, does it work? I'll stop these people. This is that's why it is government. Government, everybody has to participate in government. So when everybody's participating in government, the police cannot mess up.
Absolutely.
The soldiers are there to defend the nation, not to use soldiers to attack your people. Africa, what do? They use the soldiers to attack their people. The police, I should be able to arrest a police officer if he misbehaves. We should all be police. My father suggested this a long time ago.
Mhm.
What is police there? Maybe the slogan of police at my time was "Police is your friend."
Right.
The police will see, are they your friend? Do they look? Do they behave like your friend? And as
No.
my son was saying, and we talk about it. But have you seen the way the police live? Pigs live better than the way the police live.
Mm.
They don't even take care of the armed forces. They don't take care of the police. They don't take care of nothing. They don't take care of nothing but themselves. And then when we talk, oh, we are against our government. Oh, we are unpatriotic. Yeah, that's the word. Unpatriotic. If people like me were unpatriotic, would I be here? Do you know what? I would live like many other great African artists who have left their shows, won
Right.
big awards, the best awards in this world, and just left because they just looked and they said, look, I can't kill myself here. And they
Yeah.
go, they carry, and they excel with their career. People like us stay and say, look, it's Africa can't be great from here. We can still be successful from here. It will be tough, it will be blah, blah. We are going to pay a huge price, but we can make it. So we build this shrine, and my career has been here all my life.
Absolutely. I'm going to quickly come in there. With all these things that we now know, we've done a lot of talking. We're trying to sensitize young people. If you notice, Black Lives Matter, it's young people, it's the youth that have taken over the streets. How do you think we'll be able to sensitize African youths, Nigerian youths, to live up to their responsibility of understanding the strength they have as youth to hold accountable the people in government positions?
They will learn. A lot of youths are talking. You see, like I told you, I'm not one that criticizes the youths. You don't know what people are going through. You don't know the pains they are going through. Look, to put 1 square meal on your table. So people probably focus on this. People have lost loved ones, not because of people have been deprived all this time. So I'm not one going to be there criticizing the youths or the artists. A time will come where they will stand up, and they are standing up in their little way. I mean, we are not probably not collectively, but I mean, it takes. Look, Africa was oppressed. Let's not even go to the trans-Sahara slave trade.
Yeah.
400 years of turmoil, 400 years of rape, 400 years of chaos and evil. You can't imagine that. A good example is the Congo. The Congo, one of the richest parts of Africa, till King Leopold of Belgium. Look what he did. They say he killed over 100 million Congolese people. 100 million. Nobody talks about it today.
Yeah.
There is no peace in the Congo right now. They use language, they use religion. Look, let me give another example. Because of this language, if I said, oh, this is a phone. So I say, hey, it's not a phone, it's an iPhone. It's Android. Yeah, 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 yeah. Look, it's a phone. Stop stressing my life. We just want to keep on showing that we
Mhm.
know more than the next person. Our
Mhm.
language doesn't let us be disrespectful stupidly. Our
Mhm.
language doesn't let us show off that you can speak. Our language was about beauty and presenting beauty to the world.
Right.
Timba so pe phone, nobody is going to argue with me that phone. Ile Timagba, ile wolo mbolongbe, ile mi niyen. They are not going to ask me, say duplex ni. We don't think and act foolishly when we speak our language.
True.
Before an argument starts, when you are speaking your language, sure. But when you are speaking this English, when I say, oh, this is a phone, you didn't know it's iPhone, it's an Android phone. And you say, no, what phone is iPhone, etc. It's iPhone. You see, the language has made us, it backtracks us, and we fail to address issues we should be addressing, like healthcare, good roads, good education, electricity. These are the things we should be talking about. And even when we want to talk about those things, we will be fighting. Those things that are important, that people have died, we'll be fighting. That's what colonization, bad government, has made us do. Then you see the worst of it. We will now start fighting and blame ourselves. Get over it. Get over it. The slave trade has ended. Get over 400 years. That's why America is great. Black Americans don't get over what the KKK did. They will not get over what they have experienced or their ancestors have experienced. You think I'm going to get over what happened to my father or my grandmother? I might not talk about it, but I will keep teaching my father, my children, or my children will teach their children. We are not going to forgive anybody for what happened to my grandmother. You tell me to get over it. Get over what? What kind of stupid talk is that? Do you tell the Jews to get over the Holocaust? You try it. You try and tell them to get over the Holocaust and see how that nation will descend on you. You will commit suicide by the time they finish with you. You tell them to get over the Holocaust. Well, when it comes to Africa, it is us. The white people don't even need to tell us to fight. We fight amongst ourselves. Because by the time you go to the French speakers, they will talk their French. You will not hear what they are saying. You won't hear what they are saying. They say one of us now go and learn French to speak their language to them. We had empires on this continent. We had nations. They destroyed everything. They destroyed us and cut up like a piece of cake, and then they just scattered everything and just criticized and lambasted us and just did us jaga jaga. And they say, get over it. We now say, get over it. So when Africans talk stupidly like that, you see, it's going to take years to get over, to address all these issues I've spoken to you about.
Yeah. I wanted to quickly, there's a video I watched today. It was a video talking about the way Africans are not united, how we are the ones who fight ourselves. We don't even wait for someone from outside to come in, fan the embers of war or fight them and fan the flames. I saw a video this morning of Nigerian embassy in Ghana being demolished by an individual who claims that the land was originally his. And so the shock that came, it wasn't so much of a shock. It was a shock because it's in Ghana. You would think that Nigerians and Ghanaians are hardly even different in any way. So, in your opinion, what the standing Nigeria has taken or the plummeting of Nigeria's image on the continent of Africa, what's your take on it?
I've told you, slavery, bad governments makes us act like this. If the Ghanaian government was very Pan-Africanist, could that happen? There's a process to go through what you are going to go through. If the Nigerian government stood as a Pan-Africanist government,
yes,
the Ghanaian, nobody will be able to do that either. So you see, all this is, like I said, all what I've explained to you is what makes us react the way we react. Let me give you another example. When an African leader goes to United Nations and he wears a coat and tie and he's trying to be so French or British, you think those people are going to respect him? When you go, oh, yes, yes. Well, when you go there, you start to, you don't even speak their language. Say, okay, you need a translator. You need a translator because you don't speak this language. They have to give you a translator. You understand? Why must we try to speak English better than English or French or Portuguese or whoever colonized that part of Africa? Why? You see, so we act the way we have been trained over the years to act. They know. You see, when they take our culture and tradition away from us, and they distort our computerized minds and install it with their own, they know we are like robots. We are just we are being controlled. They have the European and American just have to sit back and just say, look, they will sort leave them. They don't have to do anything. That's why we fight ourselves. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah formed the OAU in 1960 and was to bring Africa to unite, to be able to stand as one force.
Yeah.
It never came. He managed to form it. But what did they do? They got there and they just said to fight. Europeans knew they would do that because the French speaking will say, no, why must it be an Englishman that must be the first president? No, it must be Portuguese. They make us think like nobody can put the agenda, put all this back because of the education, the way they are beating us to stupor, that this is how we must react. They are beating stupidity out. They beat senselessness out of us, beat hell out of our people. So they know it's going to take us another 100 or 500 years to get ourselves together again. Luckily, time is now moving in this direction. So you see Black Lives Matter and you see all these things happening in the world today. But it's going to still take time. So, but you need, when this kind of thing happens in Ghana, you don't need to escalate it. You need to quickly diffuse it before Nigeria and Ghana will go to war. We don't need any more
disunity.
Yes, amongst us. We don't need this. You see, then when OAU had a meeting, they had a meeting a few years ago. That OAU, yes, we are going to have a big meeting. You know what the meeting was about? How to remove the O in the OAU. So they are called AU. It was such a big meeting. And I said, oh, this O is so big. Hey, take it. Oh, yeah. Put it in the we are now AU.
Oh my God, we just love ourselves, don't we? We're special, we're unique. We're here to promote everything African, even when it comes to picking the big O out of the OAU and just dumping it aside. That was the way forward. Oh Lord. You know, one of the other things I want to say is what happened to the old African shrine that your father built? Because in my mind, I'm thinking this is one place that should be, kept and used as some kind of, in fact, one of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites for
the Benite family refused to sell it to us, and he was in court for about a decade before he passed. And when he passed, they refused to sell it. So there was nothing we could do. There was no way we were going to win the case. We tried, pleaded, offered them money. But as the creator we wanted, we got a place 5 times bigger than that place. Right. You see where that shrine is a place called Computer Village. There's no way we could have lasted there. That place is so overcrowded. So you see, sometimes when the forces are working in your favor, because we are just human beings, we don't realize the creator is working in your favor. So we did everything, we did get it. We were so depressed because we knew the importance of that place. But see where we have, see the beauty. Now we hold celebration, where we have over 50,000 people in 1 week trying to get into this club that takes about 5,000 people. Right. So you see, I am one now that I learn a lot from my mistakes, and I learn from things like this, and I realize that I don't question when forces like this work in your favor. So sometimes you will feel bad about something, but we have to realize we're just human. Right. Tomorrow it might be, and I've seen this happen in my life many times. So I'm saying, oh, why did this happen? And then I see, but look, imagine it happened. We won't be where we are today. I'll give you another example. My bassist ran away in America, and I was so hurt. I was so, because he nearly destroyed my whole tour. We managed to survive the tour. But look what happened. My son now is in my band. He plays bass. It completely changed the dimension and dynamics of the music. He has used it to establish himself. he is now becoming famous. What more joy does a father want than to see his child prosper right in his lifetime before his eyes? So I was sad. But then, see what if somebody or one spirit had come to me, oh, it's for a good reason, this is going to happen. Don't be depressed. I was so heartbroken that, oh, New York City, he ran away 20 minutes before I was so heartbroken, I was down. But nobody even remembers that day anymore. And my son now is finished his album, is going to release it very soon. All this has happened that nobody remembers that pain I felt, the joy that has healed that pain. We don't even remember. So you see, I'm that kind of person that when this kind of disappointment happens, I think ahead and say, since I did not hurt anybody, I was not bad, or I didn't commit any crime, maybe God wants to surprise me. Let me just be patient.
Do you know, I'm very happy that you responded to this question like this, because I've had people to go on talking about how unhappy they were that you closed down the old shrine and built a new one because they didn't understand why. So this answers the questions for those people who don't understand what happened to the old African shrine and
Yeah,
so on.
that's what our education does. They make us jump into conclusions before you go and find out why. As if we are mad people, we didn't want it, or yeah, 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 yeah. So again, I'm that kind of person that I don't let people stress me again. Wisdom comes with age, and I
Yes.
am thankful that I'm beginning to have a little bit of wisdom that keeps me um, on my feet and keeps me grounded, should I say.
You know, thank you. One of the things that used to happen in those days is when Michael Jackson was alive, is people looked forward to seeing the reunion of the Jackson Five. They wanted to see them perform as a family. I want to ask you: is there anything in the bond as to you, your older sister, your younger brother Sheon, and your younger sister? I'm not sure if Motu. I know Motu and Sheon when they were a lot younger. Is there something you're trying? And of course, your son. I think his name is Made. Made Kuti.
Made, Omori Made.
Made, right? Is there something you're trying to come up with to give us a full combo of the Kuti family performing or coming up with an album?
I don't think my elder sister will go back into show business, but she still does the choreography for my band.
Right.
I mean, she has stopped dancing for nearly 20 years. I don't think she wants to sing again or anything. Otu, I don't think wants to go. I'm not sure, but Sewa and I will probably do an album one day. We
Right.
might revisit some of my father's songs, but we
Right.
play together. We play together in many festivals. We play together at the shrine. We
Mm,
see each other. He was at my. I mean, people just like to create chaos when there is not.
mm.
Sewa and I are very close. People just want a fight to happen. Yes, there was a fight, but there was a fight because he was very young and people around, the same people I was talking about, were manipulating him. So it was my responsibility to behave like a big brother and
Right.
understand it. And just say to myself, one day, he's not going to be 16 forever. Abi. He will grow. And now he has grown. Uh,
Yes.
where will he go to? He said, he will go, his head must take him back home. No problem. Where are the people now? He put a very beautiful post that nearly brought tears to my eyes on Facebook and Instagram today.
Oh,
And he cracked me up, you see. So this is the same person that um 30 years ago, everybody will say, yes, there is work. See again. See, when God is working, you don't know God
yes.
is working in your half. See, because they wanted the family to be disunited. So it takes the elders of the family to understand what is going on. Sit back,
Yes.
be patient, just keep on doing what they have been doing, and things will work out. And things have worked out for the family.
Right. I want to also quote you. There's a quote you made. He said, "A composer is like a medium that high forces use to give people joy, inspiration, and courage. So, is there a song you're doing right now, especially with the, challenges, the new realities that we're living with right now, to inspire, inspire us to
Yes,
do more courage? Is
yes.
there something,
My next album is going to be released on the same day as my son's album.
right,
So that album, every song is like I say, we are just composers are mediums that higher forces use. And if you give yourself to these higher forces, they will manipulate you positively to inspire people. Because we don't know where this sound comes from. We hear it, so it's not like you just pluck it from a tree. You dream
yeah,
of it, you walk, and it's there. But I strongly believe this. So my next album, all my music is like this. I can't lay. I know it's a gift I have, and forces use me to do what I have to do in my lifetime. I'm somebody again that is very conscious of I'm going to live this life one day, and I try to live my life as positive as possible. To because one day I will not be here.
right,
I don't know where I'm going to go, and I don't want to have regrets that I should have done this or not done this, blah 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 blah. So I try to be. I use my culture and tradition to guide my life,
right,
so to say.
right. So that brings me to asking, what's your
So
religion?
everything I do is
What's
in
your
this
religion?
respect. My next album,
What's
yes,
Thank you. So, what's your religion?
I don't have a religion.
You don't have a religion?
Relig-
What
relig-
way do you practice spirituality
I
and
don't have
spirit?
a religion. I don't believe in religion is a following. I'm very spiritual, and
Mm,
it's between me and my creator. But I I move more to the African way of worshiping.
right.
I will not say fully because again, a lot of this has been distorted over the years.
Mm,
And this is again where government should come in to research so we can appreciate our form of worship. So I am a great believer in African gods. I respect our culture and tradition. I
mm,
don't practice it as um, a practicing person. I just I respect it. I move more to that. So I would say I'm more spiritual.
right.
I'm a very prayerful person. I will pray to my ancestors. For instance, my mother has passed. I always think about her. I think about my father. I think
Mm,
of my younger sister. I think about my great grandfather, my great grandmother.
mm,
I I would say a prayer to Ogun. I would say a prayer to Shango. I worship I to myself, but I won't practice it. Like go
right.
to the cult or the Shango shrine to do anything like this.
Mm,
But if I even see them, I'm somebody that will bow to what they are doing. Now, just because it's our culture,
mm,
but I'm not a practicing person. So I
right.
would say I'm more spiritual.
Right. So you're not into practicing African traditional religion, but you're a spiritual person. And when you do want to pray, you pray the African way. Is that right?
Yes, I have a shrine now. Don't forget.
Yeah.
So if I need to pray, I will go to the shrine and pray.
Right. So amongst the Yoruba gods, the Shango, Ogun, Oshun, Obatala, is it Obatala? I'm trying to remember now. Which
Obatala,
Obatala? Which is your favorite god?
all of them. How can you have a favorite? You need your culture teaches you that you have to respect all the gods. Yemoja, you have to respect even Eshu. Eshu is not the devil in our culture.
Mm,
We worship Eshu, we respect Eshu. Ah, issue is after Eledumare is issue. How can you disrespect issue? So I don't when they are saying devil and linking the devil to issue. In my culture, it's not we don't understand that. We don't understand what they are saying. Evil is not issue.
right.
From what I gather and the books I've read, when the Europeans wanted to find what could link the devil or their devil to that was similar to our own to distort us further, they just
Mm,
picked issue. That issue was the closest to what they knew or what they could understand and distorted
okay.
our minds and made us believe issue is bad. Issue is the devil. Issue is not the devil, according to our culture. People bear a should be in my culture. You name your children. People bear this. So we worship, we give Eshu as much respect as we give Shango or any of the other gods. Eshu is probably the most powerful of the gods. So, and again, I'm not that kind of person that will interfere in this kind of matter. Who am I, a human being, that will now start to be saying the devil is bad? God punishes the devil. He's bigger than you. I don't do that kind of thing. What if God and the devil, in that respect, their own, is not my own? What if God and the devil, they settle that fight they are talking about? I don't interfere in all these things. Were you there? What year did they born me? They born me in 1962. This fight has been going on since. It will go on maybe long after me. Then I will now be saying, I'll be giving devil punch. Okay. If God, the creator, was going to, according to that religion, that scripture, it's his first son, or it's that. What if something just happens and there is peace? You that have been saying, bastard, okay. Putting your mouth where it doesn't concern you. You are putting your house inside, as our people say, inside husband and wife matter. When husband and wife settle, it's you. Do you know what Today was telling me? He's what Today, and Today is my friend. He said you are a very useless man. You are putting your mouth inside. Okay, continue putting this.
It's beginning to sound
Another example is
like
when my father and I, when we had a misunderstanding. You will see all of them. Femi is this, Femi is bad, Femi is that, Femi is this. I will be looking at them. I could never leave my house to go and interfere in another family's matter. Even if my friends had problems with their fathers or their family, I will just mind my business. I will support my friend, but I won't interfere. I'll just say, you are my friend. I'll be following you. I'll be praying for the fight to end. Not go and be putting fire inside family matter. I don't know how some people think. The day my father and I became friends, there was a guy, you just talk rubbish that day. I say, and I thought my father would take a side. I said, if you open your mouth again, I will give you a dirty slap. He said, Fela. Fela just carried his face away. That even if Fela and I were fighting, you are putting your mouth. By this time, I was a full-grown man. I was married. I had a child. You are coming to be saying, Femi said that. Because I will go to shrine and I will drink water. Say, let me drink water so I can feel stronger. My father will say, let him smoke a bowl so his head can be correct. So they say I'm abusing him. Please, where is the abuse I'm abusing him? Tell me. I just found another way. Or Fela says, everybody say, yeah. And I say, oro. They will now go and say, I've changed it. What is wrong with them? People are dangerous. So you are putting your mouth inside devil matter. Okay.
and finally. Wait, I'm just enjoying this chat so much. I don't want it to end.
We have to go. We'll be talking for over an hour.
Real quickly, there is someone on Facebook. Her name is Helen D. She says, "Can you tell us a little bit about your dad? What you remember about him? You've said so much about him. But the most fun things you remember about your dad?"
He was very funny. He used to crack a lot of jokes. I mean, we could sit down with him for hours. I think the most interesting part for me was when he used to tell us stories about his father or his grandfather, because I really liked our historical side. So when he talks about this, it was very interesting. He was very courageous, brave. I mean, everybody knows this as it's there for everybody to know.
Right.
But it was very hard to know what was going on in his mind. You had to really be very close to him. So he was a family man. I would say he was a family man, but he will never show anybody. Probably this was because he knew, again, his family were a target.
Right.
Because when we were children, the SSS used to park a car in front of our house because I moved to my mother's house. And my maternal grandmother and my mother will see, they will call us and say, look, at this car has been parked from 7 o'clock and it will not leave our house till like 5 in the evening. To just every day to just come park in front of our house. And two men will just be sitting there, not moving. And this was in the 70s, 74, 75, 76. Even after the burning of the house. So maybe he did all this to protect his family.
Right.
I don't know, but it's a big thought we had. So he was this kind of person. He will never let you know. I think he was very protective about, because look, you can't imagine how he was betrayed.
Yes.
So I think, again, in his latter life, he was heartbroken a lot because nothing changed in Nigeria. Nothing changed at all. And I think he was heartbroken.
Right.
Just before he died.
And one more person says, can you do a song for us? Do you have your
No.
song?
Why now? No, why are you stressing me like this now?
Oh.
You have already made me talk. Let me
Too
put on my
much.
glasses. Let me see. Sorry.
Okay.
I've been talking now for 1 hour, 6 minutes.
Yes, and we're enjoying
next time I will sing for you.
Next time. All right. So before you go, do an endorsement for Africa Rise with Susan West.
This is Femi Anikulapo-kuti. You're watching Susan Rise on African West. Keep watching.
Yes, thank you for turning it around. I still love it. Anyhow you said it is good. Thank you for coming to Africa Rise with Susan West. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Yes. And so it was fun. I had a great time. I had a swell time talking to Femi Kuti. So much was said, and I do hope that you carried something away from there. And hopefully that people like Femi Kuti still around will be able to inspire young Africans to take the responsibility of holding governments accountable to them and to us. On that note, I just want to say a very big thank you for all those who were able to join this broadcast, and thank you for sharing. And I'll catch you next Sunday, same time. And of course, as we go into the week, I will reveal who our next guest is going to be. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.